Pause it again. Okay. All right. Hey, two of my favorite people. How y'all doing? Ken and Antoinette. How y'all feeling today?
Oh, feeling fine, brother.
We're looking
Thank you for
fine.
inviting us back for conversation with.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited about beginning this thing again because I think there's space, even more space, for people to just tune into something that's kind of chill. Even though the subject may vary, you understand, some of them might be pseudo intense, but that free spirit of just I was just talking about that. I think it's important to have that in the midst of all that we're bombarded with every day, right?
Absolutely.
So welcome. Hello, everybody. This is the first episode of Conversation with an I Am Creation with two of my favorite people in the world, Miss Antoinette McDonald Ellis and the King, Brother Ken Ellis. I love these people. I love these two people. And you will see why once we continue to just talk and share. I'm your host, Brother Gil, and welcome to Conversation with. Okay, Ken and Antoinette, I've been dying to catch up because I know you both have been doing all these incredible things building around your the precepts and the concepts that you talked to me about before. This is their third interview, so you have to catch up. I'm going to make sure I post them all so you can catch up because there's some things you may want to kind of backtrack with, the historical things in our conversations, right? So, but here of late, Antoinette, my good goodness, you have just become a whole next level being. So,
I don't know about next level, but okay. Okay.
Can you please, would you mind sharing with us just a blurb of things we shared before and connecting that to where we are now today? What's today? The 18th of September, 2025. And then Ken, same thing with you, all these jewels that you're holding on to. Can you just kind of catch us up on who you both are, and why we're having this conversation? Yes?
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
so I'm going to shut up and I'm going to listen.
Well, thank you again, Brother Gil, for inviting us back. Again, I'm Duchess Antoinette McDonald Ellis. I'm a performance artist. I'm a public speaker. I'm a teacher, and I am legally blind. I have glaucoma, and I'm living with Charles Bonnet syndrome. So that's really what got us initially talking about conversation with, because I also am a stroke survivor from many years ago. Many years ago, I had an aneurysm. So that's kind of the historic catch up as to why we decided to, do some work together with conversation with. And also, I'm not really going to give away the surprise that we have coming up.
Yes.
But as we continue to move forward, I've been speaking. I've been doing several speaking engagements in regards to living with blindness, living with Charles Bonnet syndrome, because really that is my mission right now at this point in my life, is to be an ambassador for the blind community, and also to bring awareness about Charles Bonnet syndrome, which is something that happens only within the blind community. And as an artist, of course, and I have to utilize my voice in the way that it's best suited, which is a public speaker / performance artist. And and through that, that's where my teaching comes out too, because it's all in there. So that's the little blurb about me historically. I'll
Thank you.
hand the mic over now to Mr. Ellis.
I'm Ken Ellis, retired scenic designer, retired college professor, supporter of Antoinette. That's what I am.
Yeah, let's not poo-poo. You're also a theater scholar, like no other. particularly when it comes to Black theater. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And they both are brilliant students of life, and they are so committed to community and love and making sure that what they experience, what they gain from their experiences, they share with those whom they can. That's why I love them. I'm Brother Gill, and I am also a retired performer. I'm a retired Broadway performer and a stroke survivor. So the concept of conversation with is all rooted in healing. We are healing from so many things and in and around our communities. And so we wanted to create an environment that was peaceful, that you could come to and listen and gain some insight. We are not practitioners. So this is primarily for entertainment and sharing of ideas, but we try to input information that you can factually, is that the word I'm trying to say? That you can fact check. You can Google it, or you can explore it even further to gain some really relevant information to help you, particularly if you are one of the recovering beings, such as we are, Antoinette and Ken and myself. We want to be encouraged as well as share, our futuristic visions, our hopes, particularly as artisans. And so that's why Conversation With came about. In fact, Antoinette said, Gil, you should just call it Conversation With. I went,
I remember that.
hey. So that's how it all became. But we are rooted in healing. We want to spark conversations of what do we do? How do we heal ourselves beyond the scientific chemical things that they tend to give us all the time? How can we take that further? Creativity is a major component of our healing, right? And so we want to connect all of these dots with shows like this Conversation With, because it's a part of our daily being. We live and we breathe as creative beings. These two individuals are two of the greatest that I know. And so I'm very interested to hear now, particularly Ken, because he is such a great supporter of his lovely wife, who is a thespian. He has been working tirelessly on concepts for the stage, because Antoinette and I are both from the stage, and she loves it. He loves her loving the art. And so he wants to create environments where people who are dealing with issues of sight, who are still artisans, artists, actors, whatever they are, he wants to create, as a prolific set designer, an environment where they can do that. And the brother has brilliant ideas around that. And Ken, I would love for you to just give us a blurb of some of the ideas that you don't have to give your nuances away, but to kind of enlighten us on the things that may be coming down, that will be coming down the pike as you continue to develop your vision.
Well, I'm not sure that enlightened is what I can do, but there have been things that Antoinette and I, well, first of all, at a baseline, I don't believe that some kind of physical challenge, or for that matter, even mental challenge,
yes,
should bar one from performance.
Absolutely.
Because performance, at least, the Socratic view is that, performance, or in his case, tragedy, is an imitation of life.
Yes.
So reflect life back at the audience. Well, life doesn't just involve beautiful, able people.
Right.
It involves all kinds of people,
Yes,
and the
it
stories
does.
of our lives also
Yes.
involve all kinds of people.
Mhm.
So if we're going to then do an imitation of it before an audience, then it doesn't always have to,
Mhm.
it can show everyone
Show everyone.
in dramatic
Yes.
frames.
Yes.
So it's not a question of whether it ought to happen. It's a question of how does one do it depending upon who's in a given company. What are the ablenesses that are found within a group that
Mhm.
wishes to tell a story?
Yes.
And then being a set designer, I have to respond to all kinds of different scripts with all kinds of different challenges. Every script has within it its inherent challenge
Yes.
from a point of view of the visual metaphor. So really, you just have to deal with who you have and then approach the work from that point of view. So, an example, to keep it from being just overgeneralized babble.
Mhm.
We talked about how to deal with people with sight challenges on
Yes.
stage,
Yes.
particularly if they had been sighted, which meant that as performers, they were used to all kinds of performance environments that they had to navigate physically.
Yes.
Where are you on stage? Why are you there on stage? How did you get there? What gets you there? How are you lit?
Right. Right.
And it occurred to me that at the same time, you want these performers to move, quote unquote, naturally through their space.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the usual tools that they handle may or may not be able to be in that picture. So when doing a role, Antoinette may not be able to have the cane.
Yes.
Because the role you're doing never wrote that cane in any usable way.
Absolutely.
So that means that she may need to navigate without it.
Without the cane.
Well, how might we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did some research and I discovered several devices in the marketplace that are mapping systems where you can map a certain expanse of physical space, give sectors of it value or
Yes.
values, and communicate where one is on that grid. And I am talking about a grid. Where are you at in that grid? Knowing where you are on that grid, and with the performer knowing what they have to do.
Yes.
And knowing something about where things are in that grid. They could conceivably navigate that stage as well as a sighted person to great effect.
Yes. Oh,
So
man.
what that will require is some kind of software that takes the visual coordinate information,
Yes.
communicates it to the performer through maybe a wireless earpiece, and they will know what's there because they've been rehearsing. And not only that, you would have rehearsed in the same system. So the payoffs of repetition will certainly be there.
Beautiful.
And as a result, that space should be easily navigated to good
That's
effect.
awesome, Ken. Man, I'm just, that is such, my mind is just tripping because to think outside of the box to that degree and to embrace that whole level of artists and artisans who may not be considered in that mainstream is a godsend, I believe, for artists and for technicians like yourself who can see that kind of concept of art. It's an art in of itself, the whole idea of what you're discussing. And I can't do anything but smile and embrace that whole visionary concept, man. Thank you.
And
As an artist to another, thank you for thinking outside of the box.
And Gil, I see your excitement. And as Ken and I, excuse me, really discuss this, I too you started to sparkle a little bit because you can see too how that can manage you, because it started, of course, in our conversations together about how to help me, a sighted, challenged individual, right? Move across the stage. But then when you and I began to speak, I was like, wait a minute, Ken's system can really be utilized for all people who are otherly abled.
Yes, yeah.
In many different ways, because you and I talked about, you being the dancer, and how does one do that when now your body is challenged, so
yes.
I'm very excited about this potential because, here's the thing, where does the magic, the secret to the magic happens in the rehearsal.
Right.
If we have a safe space that we can rehearse in, and we know it's safe because of this grid system, right? That opens up so much for us.
Come on now. Yes.
And Ken said something earlier that I kind of like to restate, and life is that which we imitate in the theater. And, we're all living, we're all part of life. And yes, though we're all beautiful people, we each have our own challenges as we move through the world. So why not look at that up on the stage?
Absolutely.
I mean, everything's not a beautiful spinning top. And what happens with the top? It wobbles and falls over eventually, but that's part of it. And this, what Ken and I are discussing, and I'm more of the discussion, and he's the brains behind this, because he's good about saying, well, what about this or that? And then I can speak to him about how me personally, as a person with sight issues, right?
Yes.
Also, as a blind person, right?
Yes.
Can utilize that through working. And also then, as we begin to work and speak with you, you'll be able to give him other information. I'm very excited about this work that we're about to do.
Gosh.
So,
And then there's your work. Antoinette, you're brilliant in what you're creating. That's another thing I love about artists. We take our situations that would be traumatic in most cases with most people, and we turn that into something, oh my gosh, such as what you're doing. Antoinette is writing these incredible, I don't even know how to describe it. It is just the most beautiful and touching and informative, brilliant in writing and concepts of theater that I've seen in a minute. She's a brilliant writer, but her concept based on what she's living through, the losing of her sight, the Binet syndrome. I almost says Charles Binet.
No, it's Charles Binet.
It is Charles Binet.
It is Charles Binet.
It's Charles Binet syndrome, and I'll let her expound upon that. But just all of these, I like to say, diamonds that life has shown us, that we're taking and we're making into, she's making into things that will be lasting for generations to come. That's exciting to me. Antoinette, would you please, you don't have to give all of your jewels, but can you kind of share with us the concept of what you're working for theatrically and help-wise from those elements of what you're creating, how it's going to benefit so many people, whether they're sighted or no, because of the passion of what you're doing.
Well, first of all, thank you for that, Kim. Well, I got a lot to live up to now. But and actually, I will go, since, if you'd like me to share one of the pieces, I've got them in the other room. You and Ken can chat, and I'll go get a piece if you'd like.
No, that's great. This is definitely what we want to bring out, so that people understand we're not just talking about a possibility of something. We're planting seeds. We're moving the benchmark as fully as we can, right where we are, even in this conversation. because I believe our words are that powerful when they're coming from a place of peace and love and passion. So absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you for that. Well, just quickly before I go to get the piece, and I left it just over there so you and Ken can talk about this because,
Yes.
you know, in all honesty, I have Charles Bonnet syndrome, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. But Ken is living with it as well because Ken is my life partner. Ken is my caregiver, right? So he doesn't see the images, but he lives with me because he sees me see it, and he helps me get through it. So Charles Bonnet syndrome is a disorder. It's a physiological disorder, often mistaken for a mental disorder, but it's physiological, where people who have had sight at some point, and who have become blind.
Man, I'm just so overwhelmed by your vision of what the possibilities are. I'm very serious about that. It really moves me on a deep level because there's so many artists who they actually decide. Now, let me not speak so easily because I know there's a theater for the blind that exists. At least they used to. I've not heard anything about what they're doing in years. But to capitalize now on the masses of people who would love to be able to be their creative selves as artists. I'm talking about the artists now. There are a lot of people who love to, be in the hams of the world. But there are artists out there who really need to create.
That's who they are.
Right. And to have an access of sorts for people who are challenged by whatever the conditions are. Your vision, man, it's just, I think it's a godsend. I really do.
Well, I mean, there are some challenges to this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the challenges is that audience members
Yes.
don't necessarily get motivated to see a show or an event based on a lot of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Often you have to appeal to something more visceral.
Yes.
And then people will deal with the barest amount of idea that they need to drive them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge we face.
Yes.
Because for someone to come and see what we produce, they have to have already thought that such an idea interests them.
Yes.
So that's work we have to do, is figure out how do you communicate that and create that energy.
Mm-hmm.
However, between now and then, the way to do it is we have to find friendly, established institutions.
Yes.
Who already have audiences.
Right.
Some of whom might be able to be appealed to because it's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the number one challenge. You see, because the doing of this thing is less of a challenge than anybody thinks. I'm just saying, let's say you're on stage and let's say you're using your walker.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody that ever wrote a script ever disallowed a walker.
Yes.
So really, you could do George Bernard Shaw, you could do Susan Laurie Parks. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the audience just has to accept the fact that you show up there, upstage center through that door with a walker.
With the walker, absolutely.
Okay, and then it becomes part of the firmament and people accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once you show it to the audience, that becomes a new kind of experience for them.
Yes.
But we will need to get them in there because we can't just be our own audience.
Right.
Although I'm sure
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's an intriguing part for me, of any live event or any, you know what I mean? And because of, I think, the power of what you're pursuing is in that that space where people who first of all, they will understand theater, and a lot of what I believe could become of what your vision is will include visual elements, i.e., music, sound things that creates that theatrical, musical extravaganza environment. You know what I mean? Even audibly. So then it becomes more of a marketing tool, I believe, of how to re-educate or add to the education of this type, this other able theater production. You understand? So it intrigues me because that is the crux of the whole vision. How do we sell this thing? How do I entice someone without twisting their arm to come and explore what we're doing? And I think this is part of the magic that's going to be a part of the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? I think that's a part of the whole nuance and power of what your vision dictates. Because it is going to it's going to break that fourth wall, if you will, in our minds, of what a theater production is. And it may take some real outreach, but I believe there are people who are going to gravitate toward something like that. This, because it is so new or unusual or different, out of the norm of what you expect when you go to see a play, or you go to see a musical, or you go to see a review. And it's all those other rich elements that would normally not be there, maybe in very small, amounts, that I think is going to could awaken a whole new understanding.
Well, I think that, like I mentioned before, I think the door to this is a difference-friendly institution that's pre-existing.
Yes.
Right? Because no, we're not going to sell it like Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The audiences that buy like that are looking for the thing they already heard of.
Yes.
So we need to find, for example, I don't know whether they'll do it or not, but an organization like Theater West.
Yes.
Particularly since their stock in trade is breaking through some barriers. That's in their mission statement.
Yeah.
So I think the birth of this sort of thing falls in that kind of environment.
Absolutely. I hear you.
Because the audience they've collected are those people who were about something new.
Well, not only that, we're talking about audience, and I have a friend, Nicole, Dr. Deffenbaugh, who her whole dissertation was writing about her disability. She was born with a disorder. It was an autoimmune disorder. She was born with not AIDS, but an autoimmune disorder. And so her whole life, she's had to be very careful. She's had to be like, if she cuts herself, she has to be very careful because her immune system, has issues. Right. But she's done a whole lot of work. And so a good portion of our audience we're going to find are conferences and things like that. That's where we're going to get some of our first hits, are going to be conferences dealing with various different things. Like a lot of the times I speak at conferences or I speak at support groups, right? These are niche kind of groups, right? This week I spoke to the New York State Association for the Blind. And then I spoke the same day, that afternoon, with this was a private group, but they were in, I believe, South Carolina. And they were about people who had lost their vision, right?
Yes.
But it was a support group. So in one day, I reached, the state of New York and then people in South Carolina dealing with the same message. And it was all in regards to CBS in this book.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, sir.
sometimes I'm speaking to the blind community in general, but this is part of my blind journey. So when people ask me to separate it, that's really difficult because
It's difficult.
I cannot.
Mhm.
It's all part of the same journey,
Yeah.
But that is where we will find some of our initial audience.
Right.
Sorry to come in on the end of the conversation with you guys.
You're good. You're good. Now, before we had a break, you were about to share something with us that is connected to your brilliance of creating the projects that you're working on. Something I can tell. I used to know the title completely. Antoinette, what's wrong with my brain?
It's
A funny
called
story on the way to my blindness. A funny thing on the way to my blindness. Oh, come on here, Gil. I got it.
Gil, let me just say it because you're gonna
Yeah.
get some folks so messed up they won't know what they're looking
Right.
for.
Okay.
Right. My piece is called "A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Blindness."
That's
My glaucoma story. That's
say
my
it again because I was talking in the middle. Shut up, Gil.
right, because they'll be looking for all different kind of stuff. Gil,
Right.
no. A funny thing happened on the way to blindness. My glaucoma story by Duchess Antoinette McDonald Ellis. Okay, so.
And it is as interesting as it sounds because of how her mind works and the life experiences that she's had. So I'm not going to try to speak to that. I'm going to let her share just a snippet of what the kinds of things that you produce, Antoinette, please.
Shall we?
We need to switch places
We're
because
switch places because of light.
There's no light over
No, like, okay, right on. It's
All
such love and support between you
I
two.
could just stay here.
I love that.
So, first of all, thank you for letting me share this. I really have only shared this publicly once, and that was at one of the places I spoke yesterday for the New York State Association for the Blind.
So, see how special we are, audience? Okay. Come on now.
Now, this piece is
called... Thank you,
Antoinette,
for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you, Gil, for giving me the opportunity. Now, this is in regards to my CBS, which, discussed a little bit earlier. And you're always with me wherever I go, on my mind, in my mind, whether I choose you or not. I usually choose not. Even when rejected and knocked down, you spring back up. Like a clown punching bag, down for a moment, but you always pop right back up in my face, beside me, smiling with that painted on grin, or posing as a protective halo, ever present, beamish cherry-faced cherubs, protectors or reminders. You're always right around the corner or down the hall or on the couch or lounging on a chair, always there, gathered under the table, circling around my head all day, my feet at night, my cart at the store, my coffee tables in the evening, circles. You're in me, around me, a part of me, apart from me, my control, my agency. You can't hurt me. You're not real. Although I'm often damaged by you because you are actual. You are my hidden desires, my deepest fears, my secret garden. You know all that is concealed behind my sparkling mask without an utterance of my confessions, just deep knowing without understanding. You follow me, lead me. We dance and fight. You're full of surprises appearing from thin air, coming and going as you please. You're never invited, but you always find a seat at my table.
Mm.
The imperfect, perfect lover, a side piece who takes center stage. I love you. You're a part of me. I hate you. You're apart from me. I have no control over you as you try to control me. I assert agency dealing with you because you leave me no options. There are no love songs written that describe our affair. So I'm writing this love note to you. For us, Charlie. There are no hearts, just circles upon circles inside other circles. Your affection makes me dizzy.
Mm.
Ours is a toxic, interdependent, abusive cycle I cannot escape that binds me to you, to me. The writing is on the wall, a strange, unfamiliar, familiar code, messages blurred inside all that you bring. Your sweet and salty essence is strangely alluring, like the taste of nectar licked from the warm, sweaty skin. The intrigue, it's mystifying. I am sick of you, sick with you, like an addict to look away, to disengage, to normalize your existence. I fight to mindfully be present in each moment, present in every moment, while stepping back and forth through the vortex in both dimensions at the same time, tethered to the now. You're always with me, Charlie B., whether I choose you or not. Our cloak and dagger cosplay of my life is invasive, and I often struggle to understand the rules of engagement. But the stakes are clear. My sanity, my safety, my dignity, my me are all on the table. You will never rule me, Charlie. That is why you act like a child or a cat or a dark figure or a dancing shadow or a chasing tree or a chuck wagon or an Amish cart or Snoop or parading dolls or whatever you decide to take me to. That secret garden, that fascinating, enchanting, scary place that you think of next. Well, I'll let you know, Charlie, you're on notice because I run this fun park. I don't want to see you again. But as these cherubs proof my work, I see you now. I've grown weary, and so I bid you my fondest adieu. With all the love I can muster. Good night, Duchess Antoinette.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. You
Wow.
okay? Wow.
Wow.
So that's my love note to Charlie B. And I wrote that because that's what it's like to live with Charles Bonnet syndrome on a daily basis.
Yes. Wow. It's I first of all, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Gil.
It's very well written, full of imagery and passion. pain, exhausted, all those wonderful riches that you bring to something on paper is the magic of what we do. It's the magic of theater. So anyone, and I'm sure many of you who were really listening were very moved by that, even though it may be something new to your hearing, to your understanding. But the passion to which you shared something so vivid, Antoinette, I'm just over the moon. That's what I love about artists, how we're able to do that and caress the positive in it, the love in it, the strength in it, yet inform. And this is just a small element of what she's creating, the two of them. And together they are such a dynamic team of visionaries for art and creativity and the theater, but not just the theater, because they do film and they do, the audio visual things that this type of artistry can be taken anywhere, ideally, to reach massive amounts of people who need to hear it, who are waiting, starving for this kind of exchange. Because there's so many people, I believe, who do not know how to ask, perhaps, or even know that they're hungry for this kind of communicating. So, Antoinette, thank you. Thank you. I am just... Anyway, shut up, Gil. No.
Thank you, Gil.
Thank you. That was absolutely brilliant and so sincere, because it's a real life slice of from your pie, if you will. You can't fake that kind of truth. That you understand, and that's the magic of theater. You can't fake it. You can, a lot of people do. But what lasts in our memory banks and our spiritual banks are these kinds of exchanges of truth. And what these two are doing, and what hopefully I can kind of connect my caboose to, is building am I jumping the gun with that? We are kind of building Antoinette and I were talking the other day, and I tend to use words. So I used the word handicap, and I caught myself. I said, I hate that word. She said, I do too. So long story short, she said, we have to come up with a word that does not, take from the greatness of these people who are dealing with concerns or other. She said, in long story short, she said, I'm an other able artist.
That's right.
Or something to that degree.
That's right.
And it pinned to me too much here. I said, absolutely. So the three of us are starting to build what's the word? Consortium? No, that's not the word.
Consortium's a fine word, because it'll be working with others.
Yes.
Who have similar artistic endeavors that they'd like to pursue. So sure, consortium, that's a good word.
So Ken is such a brilliant thinking person that he's come up with all of these really relevant and reachable ideas to collectively bridge some of these gaps between I don't like to say the haves and the have-nots. I don't believe in that. But on some level of reality, they exist. But those who are on the outside, if you will, of the quote-unquote normality of things, in this case, theater and artistry, not just creative artists, painters, whoever they are. We're trying to find a way, we're working to bridge a way to put this under an umbrella that can be used in all weather means. So I mentioned to them, what was it? My brain. I mentioned to them other artists alliance. What did I say? What?
Well, you said consortium, but
Yeah.
come on. We'll come up with an official name.
Huh?
So we'll come up with an official.
We'll come up with a name, but this is why it's important to not label things so simply, to put things in quote unquote a basket, if you will. Everybody's trying to put everybody in a one size fits all kind of thing. Life is not that way, particularly when you think of people who are creative beings, and we all are, but there are specific artists who are dealing with bodily things, mental things, who are brilliant. And no one ever sees or hears or knows that because there's no place, quote unquote, for them. We want to change that as much as we honestly can. And I'm just thrilled. I'm so glad I know you two. You really do feed a part of my person, my being, that can sometimes starve because I keep certain things, way down low because people will think, Gil, you're crazy. Put the crack down, Just put the pipe over there and leave it. But no. I have found a brother sisterhood here, and I don't believe that we're the only ones.
Oh, I know we're not.
So it's just a matter of now, by faith and life blessings, continue to move this kind of thing forward.
Yeah.
Trusting in what the visions are that we carry, that deep passion that will not go away. And I've tried to shake it away. Get the fuck out. Leave me alone. So we're running short on time, but I want to give Ken and Antoinette what takeaways for artists who may be listening, artists who may be dealing with mental, I hate the word challenges, but mental things, physical things, anxietal things. What takeaways would you care to leave as it relates to what the consortium that we're trying to build and how we want to open this thing for everyone who really, really desires to put their artistry forth because it is necessary. I'm not talking about the ones who just, hey, I got 9,000 followers. You understand?
Yeah.
That's a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there are genuine artists who I believe are sort of starving for an outlet to place their passion. What would you say to those people?
Well, first thing is begin by imagining yourself doing the art whoever did in the face of an assumption that you no longer could do it. So the first thing is an act of imagination.
Yes.
Now, if you actually can visualize that, then you've crossed the first hump into doing it. Amen. Beyond that, it's an act of will. And you have to also believe that your will can be done.
Yes.
That's there too. So you got to start by imagining doing what you thought was no longer doable. And then that act itself begins to open up your further imaginings about what you might actually do.
Yes.
I think that's the first hump, because where we are now, so much of society has told you that you are no longer viable.
Yes.
And there's a tendency to, well, most people I'm sure of are to continue.
Yes.
And I would say, please answer the latter door, the door of, yeah, maybe I can.
Yes.
So, so it's really a personal liberation that you need to go through before you can even join with others to begin to create again.
Yes. Why did I lose this page? Yes, sir. I'm for some reason, my page left me, and I'm trying to get you back. I can hear you. I don't know if you're okay.
Bro.
You see me?
Yeah.
Okay, then keep talking.
Yeah, we see you.
We see you.
Y'all see me over there panicking, right? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I was like, what's going on? Because you did. You got all,
Yeah.
Because my screen changed. But I'm like, why did it do that? Anyway, I think it's because the first half of this was being saved, and once it was complete, it let me know that it would save. But now getting back to where we are, for me to physically see you two is what's strange. But keep going. You are absolutely correct, man. And I love that. That is so real. And I think a lot of artists and a lot of other human beings can relate to that, just in their lives in general. And I always want to equate what we're doing with healing, because all of this is such a healing power. It is such a healing balm, if you will, of truth and integrity when we deal with it at that base level of it being something so real and so endearing to so many people. You feel me? So, Antoinette, what would be something you would speak? All the Jews you already spoken, but what else would you add to what Ken is saying?
Well, I like what he said, because,
Yes.
you and I have had this discussion about the possibility that we would have to totally change our life and discontinue our life as artists. And that didn't sit well with me.
Right. I know.
So first I want to say, you define yourself as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
That's who makes that decision.
Yes.
No one but you. And then once you've made that decision, then do your art. So I made the decision that, okay, so yes, I've fallen off of the stage, but I know Ken's going to help that's never going to happen again. Right. But that couldn't mean that I'm not an artist anymore. It means I need to go about it differently.
Yes.
I
understand.
So, I'm otherly abled. Right. In a dark room, I'm the person you want to be standing next to if you need to get out. Because who can get out of that dark room? That would be me. Okay. So, it's a matter of finding your art within your new body, right? Because here's the thing, even before I lost my vision, right? Even before you had your stroke,
yes,
both of our bodies was doing every day, every second was aging.
My gosh,
aging. This as a dancer, your knees make more noise when you go to stand up, right? Right. As a vocalist, I got to warm up just a little bit more.
Yes.
Right? So, here's the thing. We, as artists, as you grow, as you age, as you become more mature, you move into different roles.
We become more mature.
Right. I'm more likely to play the
people mature
than the 4-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of learning to accept who you are now and saying, okay, where's the art here? Because the piece I wrote, I could not have written before I lost my vision, even had I done the research about Charles Bonnet.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Your experiences are uniquely yours,
Mm-hmm.
only yours. And if you want to pull them up and write about them and dance about them and act about them, sing about them, whatever it is you do, write a poem about them. That's what you need to do. But who makes the decision that you're an artist? That would be you. That's my takeaway.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, look, I am just over the moon thrilled about all that we talk about and all that we've spoken here in this episode, because it is so alive. It is such an embracing of the truth of art and creativity and how it can heal and inspire healing. Because I feel that ever since I had this event of stroke, there's certain things in my person now that, if, like the other day, yesterday, in fact, I had an appointment to see a new physical therapist who's building a whole male program using me as a prototype, right? And I don't drive now, so I have to use public DART.
I get it.
Well, I called them and I said, I'm all excited, and I get my car set up. Well, I'm waiting and I'm trying not to burn too much energy. They cancel the car. And so I said, okay, now call and redo it. I called and registered another car. I'm waiting. I called Bernard to let him know that I'm still coming. They just told me the car is on its way. They canceled again, right? You can tell me why, because I haven't a clue. But long story short, that something like that before this event would have annoyed the hell out of me, to the point of I would have been almost livid, because I'm wasting somebody else's time. I've wasted my own time, whatever. For those first impression kind of things. But because of my understanding of how stress and anxiety and all those, the mindset, all those things affect the health of our being in such a way, I wouldn't have even thought jack about that before. I'd have been, who the hell can I hit? You understand? Not really, but feeling that.
Right.
But I think we've been given a bonus to some degree, understanding the urgency of now how to use what's before us, our life energy, our life sources, understanding how to breathe and take a step back from just reacting to things, which is kind of a growth, particularly with stroke survivors, because we become hypersensitive. If you're angry, you become even more angry. You understand? So in many ways, creativity and breath, because breath, I believe, is from God. I don't believe it, I know it is. All these things coupled with art and creativity is how we live. It keeps us alive. It raises our consciousness above commonality. Yeah. And I think every living person has a level of that. And so the things that we're doing, hopefully, will reconnect that truth. And there's many people who are willing to open and receive it.
Right.
So I am just over the moon proud of both of you, all of us, all three of us. I want to thank you from the depths of my soul for taking this time to share all of this brilliance and all of this vision, planting all these rich, wonderful seeds of love and greatness in the universe together. Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Antoinette, for giving me the opportunity to talk with you both about this passion.
Thank you.
I am so moved and so motivated about this.